Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pop Culture Spread, our fun weekly movie and streaming news show. Let's talk big news, Jace. You can't get any bigger than this guy. Dwayne Johnson's alleged tardiness also reportedly caused a rift with Red Notice co-star Ryan Reynolds. Man, have you heard what's going on about this?
It's been all over the news this week, Rick. I love this story. And everybody, the thing in Hollywood, Rick, is like everybody gets their moment. They get their moment to shine. And a lot of these guys these days have to get their moment to fall. And it looks like people are going whole hog about, yes, The Rock's tardiness. He has been, several producers now have come out, Rick, to say that he is sometimes up to 7 to 8 hours late on stage. That's a whole working day. Means you're not filming that day, right?
Yeah.
And this is another story where it's come out that him and Ryan Reynolds got into it on Red Notice, which I thought was there you go. If you're pissing off Ryan Reynolds, you're doing something wrong, right? Yeah. I mean, here we go. The tardy, one of the sources said it was a fucking disaster, and Dwayne truly doesn't give a fuck. Like, that's what's coming out of this. Like, people are pissed. And obviously, his reps have come out and going, Dwayne is the consummate professional. We're thrilled to have worked with him on Red Notice, our number one film. But no, and some people are theorizing that the rift that he had with Vin Diesel was around this. But you were saying before the show, Rick, that you've heard a few things. What did you hear?
To me, this is just pure arrogance on the guy. Like, whether you love or hate him, I think he's just got to the point in his career where he's just like, well, you know what? I'm one of the top earners. I can pretty much do fucking whatever I want to do. And one of the things that have come out and said that he actually urinated in a bottle, all right, on set, and he got one of his, I don't know, colleagues to actually clean it up for him to take it off set.
One of his entourage.
Why are we getting to that point where you just like, I'm better than everyone? Like, come on.
Well, I'm a big one on punctuality. And I think a lack of punctuality can be quite an offensive thing. Like, if you can't respect the hundreds of crew and your cast, fellow actors, by doing the right thing and being a professional, showing up time, then sooner or later someone's going to talk about it, Rick, and they're talking about it. And they are going hard at The Rock now, I tell you, over it.
Can they put him on accountability and just go like, you are 5 hours or 7 hours late, mate, we're going to cut some of your pay or something, just.
They have to. Well, I tell you what, this will affect him now because this story coming out alone is going to make people producers who want The Rock in a movie is all of a sudden going to make it. But if he's going to be a diva, can I afford this? We've got 35 days to shoot this film. I need everybody ready at all times to get this thing done. And someone like The Rock, what did they say? He costs tens of millions of dollars on one film.
That's ridiculous.
Like, that's what the cost was. It was just absolutely ridiculous. Now, nobody is saying that he isn't awesome, because everybody has come out and said he is one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. He's a quality guy. So it isn't about his personality as such. It's about his actions. And his actions are saying, I'll turn up when I want. Well, that's going to cost him. That is going to cost him. And let's face it, The Rock isn't the same Rock from 10 years ago, where he could make stupid movies about giant white gorillas, and it make money. Like, we're not getting, like, The Rock isn't flavor of the month anymore. He was kind of like pre-2020 was his peak. So for him, this could really adversely affect him, because they're saying this has been happening for years. Like, a producer from Rampage come out and said it was bullshit, his behavior. You've had people on the set of Ballers saying the show that he was constantly late, and I reckon that was the problem with Vin Diesel and him. I reckon it had something to do with that. So that could have been part of it, because he stormed off the set.
It's all smoke and mirrors on his Instagram and his social media, isn't it? Like, I work 14, 15-hour days. Do you really? Like, it's starting to wonder now.
Maybe he's doing things. Whatever the case is,
But
single the fact he needs to do better in a world where Hollywood is changing. Rick and I am on this bandwagon every week on this show talking about how Hollywood is evolving and changing. This behavior, which would have been acceptable maybe 20 years ago because you're a big star, ain't going to cut it in the future. You got to be professional. You got to be there. You got to be present, and if you're not going to do that, you're going to cop it. And we live in a world where it's trial by the public. So right now he's being, people are judging him. They're going to make an assertion on him, and that will affect his earning potential as far as the studio is concerned.
Oh, well,
so he needs better off.
His PA's pretty not doing a pretty good job. Can't control him. So
it's some bloody notifications on your phone. All right. Like,
seriously, it's not that hard.
It's not hard. Yeah. The rest of us have to, get up. We all have responsibilities. Get up, go to work, do everything else.
Yeah. Set the example, Rock.
What do you think happens to you, Rick, if you just decide to arrive at work every day, 4 or 5 hours late? How long are you going to keep your job for?
Yeah, I won't be having a job very long, mate.
That's right. So he should be accountable to the same standard.
Correct. Do better, Rock. All right. Do better. Be better.
There we go.
All right, Jace. Let's get into some other news. This is exciting. Paul Walter Hauser continues taking every job in Hollywood by joining the cast of Marvel's Fantastic Four. This
is somebody who is doing better. This guy is
killing it at the moment.
Looking dude, chubby dude, who is a brilliant actor. He is actually a great actor. This is great. And he's had a hell of a week because it wasn't just this he was announced for. He was also announced to be a co-star in the Naked Gun reboot with Liam Neeson.
Yes.
And he also got, what was the other thing as well?
Chris Farley.
He's going to be playing Chris Farley in the biopic, this
is awesome.
Yeah, that's great. So he's had a hell of a week. But the story is he has now joined the cast of Fantastic Four, and the nerd world heads have exploded because we all want to know, who is he playing, Rick?
Don't know.
Who is this guy playing in the Fantastic Four? So I've got a bit of a page up here, and we're going to go through. This is from a website. Of course, before I go any further, most of our stories from joeblow.com. Fantastic website. We thank you guys for doing the good news, and they all know copyright to all that stuff. We're just lucky enough to be able to read their stories. Okay, now this story here, which is not from joeblow.com, however, is really theorizing who he could play. And this is from Comic Book Club. So this is just fan theories and rumors, but I thought it'd be fun to go through. I think this is the most credible one, Rick. Herbie is going to be the voice of the robot.
Right. Okay.
I think, because Herbie's a big part in this version of Fantastic Four. Yeah, it's a big role. So it could be that. The next one, which also seems very highly likely, would be Mole Man.
Okay.
Mole Man, one of the OG Fantastic
Four
prior to Dr. Doom villain. So that seems to make a lot of logical sense.
Kind of fits.
Well, the physicality fits.
That's what we're looking at. Yeah.
Galactus, again, would be the voice.
Yeah.
So that could work, and maybe if he's got the right voice. So the guy doesn't really come off as having a super, super powerful voice. So I thought, don't know about that one. This guy here, Willie Lumpkin, like Fantastic Four's mailman. So he's somebody who I could see them doing that. He just plays, the mailman, because I know it's going to be a comedy, and all right. Norrin Rad doing the voice of Norrin Rad.
The voice.
Again, it's not going to be the physical. Well, because we know we're getting the female Silver Surfer, so we are probably going to get a cameo by Norman Rad. Are we not? Norrin Rad. So Stingray is somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these theories are coming out. I mean, there's a
I
few
don't know
there
about
that
this
I
one.
would say,
And
yeah.
that's where I'm going. So, but no, honestly, I think it is down really to the top
Probably the
2.
two. Yeah,
Yeah, you
definitely.
think probably Mole Man is probably going to be the
Mole
case?
Man for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what they're going to do, whether they're going to hide this or they're actually going to, you know, release who he is. I suppose they'll have to announce the character at some point because there'll be trailers, there'll be toys being made, there'll be promotional material being printed. So
Yeah.
we'll get to know before the film for sure. But good on him. Quality actor. And so, yeah, that cast is incredible at this point. Really, really great.
Looking forward to finding out what he actually does. So,
Well, somebody else said Doctor Doom, and I go, oh, I don't think so,
Nah.
because Doctor Doom has to be. Forget about the weight, because actors can lose weight. He can spend
Correct.
6 months in the gym and he can be looking buff, right? It's the accent, because it's Eastern European is the country that Doctor Doom controls. So he's got to have that Eastern European accent, for my mind, anyway. But there you go. Good on him. Good on
him, mate. Good to see. All right, Jace. I know you're probably excited about the next story, buddy.
All right. There you go.
Mate, I know you're a fan, mate. Masters of the Universe live action film gets a summer 2026 release date. What's going on here? I know this has been on and off with this movie.
Right, well,
Rick,
Rick,
together.
Can I just give you a side story to this? So this news comes out May the 2nd, earlier this week, 3 days ago. And I wake up to a text from a friend, Jason, over the Jason Roy channel, sending me an image telling me this. And I'm freaking out. Great news for the morning. Can't wait. Yes, I'm a big He-Man fan. I do a podcast on He-Man over on the Jason Roy Gaston channel with him. So I was really looking forward, because I think you can make something really cool with Master Universe if you interpret it correctly. All the key elements are there. So I was pretty excited. However, that changed. It changed, even though I don't. Here we go. And I'm going to read the story of why it changed. And this is what I sent back to Jason. And even he wasn't impressed. This is what they're planning on doing for the film. All right. So you've got to bear with me to read this out. The story follows 10-year-old Prince Adam, who's crashed to Earth in a spaceship and was separated from his magical power sword, only linked to his home on Eternia. After tracking it down almost 2 decades later, Prince Adam is whisked back across space to defend his home planet against the evil forces of Skeletor. But to defeat such a powerful villain, Prince Adam will first need to uncover the mysteries of his past and become He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. On Earth again? Really? Did it work the first time with Dolph?
No.
Did it really? No. However, me reading that again, I had one glimmer of hope, because a lot of that sounds okay, but I don't want to spend half a movie with a 10-year-old kid riding his BMX on the streets or whatever, and then he finds the sword, and really, are we going to do this? Like, why? I mean, this material for me is good enough to just have it all set on Eternia. Audiences can handle that, and we should be right in the middle of it. However, it is being done by director Travis Knight, and I'm a big fan of Travis Knight. He made Bumblebee, the best Transformers film they've made.
Correct.
The other thing is, maybe it's the first 10 minutes. Like, that's kind of like almost like Guardians of the Galaxy, where we saw a young Peter Quill.
Do that setup and then get into it.
And then basically play the credits, and now he's 25, 30. Because I'm all good. So the moment he's 20, 25, around that age, or even 30, that's fine. Now we got a movie. And I understand he's using that as a device for you to uncover the world through Adam's eyes as he goes back. You know what I mean? So the audience gets to follow with Adam the place called Eternia, and we get to see all these characters for the first time. I don't know. I always kind of just hope they would just go straight into a plot, and the characters are the characters, and here's the story, and away we go with it.
I mean, who are they aiming it for?
Sorry?
Who are they aiming it for? Are they aiming it for
Well,
the
that
new
is an
generation of
interesting
kids?
discussion because, like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm a big He-Man fan, and I was supposed to say He-Man. That's a new figure that's coming out, new modern figure that's coming out.
It's a wish.
No, I'm a massive fan of Master of the Universe to have. So, you got my generation who are fans, and there's millions of us. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
And but besides that, I don't know how much the young generation like it, if at all. I mean, they've done a good job in recent years of doing She-Ra and the Princess of Power, which is an excellent animated series, and He-Man and Masters of the Universe, which is like a CGI, more retooling of the whole thing, like a new vision of it, which has been okay. And the Kevin Smith animated films have been, miniseries have been fantastic. So there's a little bit behind it, but yeah, who are you aiming it for? Because a film like this, you really need everybody to go to for it to make money, right? You need mum and dad to take Junior, who wants to go and see it. You almost want the grandparents to want to go and see it. It is this franchise at this point, Rick, 40 plus years old. It's been around a long time. So it's people, whether they haven't ever watched it, they know the name. They know who Skeletor is and they know who He-Man is.
Correct.
Even if you've never watched an episode, you know those characters. They've been in the zeitgeist long enough. But yeah, look, remember, this film has gone so many different hands over the years. I mean, you had people like John Woo was going to make it at one stage, John M. Chu, Jeff Wadlow, M. McGee, David S. Goyer. And, we've had several different He-Man casts. So, like, we'll see what happens, but it's getting a theatrical release, so that's a good thing. But I suppose I'll be far quicker to judge once I see trailer.
See who's playing He-Man. See who's
what the tone is, what the visual style is, whether they're keeping it as close as possible to the original designs, and that should be the case. Like, don't all of a sudden be scared to make He-Man look like He-Man, or make them look like they're supposed to look. You may need to modern up a little bit, but they try to keep the characters looking the same. I think that would help a lot, and then get the action right and get a good. It doesn't even need to be a complex story. This thing could be a simple story. Could be just
like you said,
needs to defend Castle Grayskull against Skeletor. That's your plot. Done.
Well, yeah. Well, there's some diehard fans out there, Jay. So you're right. If
I'm one of them.
Really don't want to stuff it up.
I've got a Castle Grayskull. I've got a heap of He-Man figures. I'm into it. I watch everything. I want this to be huge. So I'm biased, but I'm also the old 10-year-old boy thing, losing his sword. I'm like, oh, please don't be the whole film.
Yeah. Well, look at the technology we got now. So, and bigger
it'll
budget.
look amazing.
It's going to look amazing. If they stay off Earth. So.
Yes, get off Earth. We don't need Earth again.
We don't need Earth. All right, Jace, let's get into the next story, buddy.
Oh, yes, the next story. Here we go.
The Dark Knight co-writer Jonathan Nolan would absolutely return for more Batman movies.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of Batman going on at the moment.
Yeah, and Jonathan Nolan, he's riding high because of Fallout. This is the excellent series of Fallout. And he's done really, really well with Westworld as well. And yeah, he was responsible with his brother in writing those trilogy of movies, and he'd love to be back. And why wouldn't you? The question I have reading the story is not the most obvious. Yes, I would love to come back and do it one day. Is how could you do it though? I mean, well, what is the next step for an old Bruce Wayne at this point? Because he's 20 years later, mate. It's like, hypothetically, they greenlight this film today, Rick, right? By the time you get the script written, you get it filmed, you do all your effects, the film comes out in 3 or 4 years. That makes, this thing like 20 years later. So could you potentially do The Dark Knight Returns?
Could you?
Could you do it? Older Christian Bale doing The Dark Knight Returns.
In what storyline, though? You know what I mean? Like, what angle would you go? Like, he's at that point.
The big problem, and I think you've just raised it, kind of
too old.
To me, my own petard here, is the fact that in this version of Batman, there are no other superheroes. Superheroes don't exist. So you can't really have Superman in that story. Or is it about is it about him having to come back? Because I don't know. I don't think they should. It's just an interesting point that one of the filmmakers, someone heavily involved in that trilogy of films would go, wouldn't that, he was quoted saying, wouldn't that be a dream? The period was 10 years of my life when I got the call to work on Batman Begins, and it was epic. Working with Christian, Heath, Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, and to honor an American icon. If I had the chance to go back and work on that again, absolutely. But he moved on to other things, and I think that's probably the better way to go, is to not kind of touch it again. But it's an interesting question, because what do you do? Do you show the death of Bruce Wayne? Perhaps. Do you do Batman Beyond? Their version of a Batman Beyond, where an older Bruce Wayne trains. Terry, what's his name? Can't remember his last name.
I mean,
but either way, you leave it as it is. But it's really exciting that someone like him, who is a quality writer, he is a very good writer. He's so steeped into the pop culture kind of entertainment.
Yeah.
So for him to make the Batman, and he's got to work on Fallout and did an incredible job on that, and Westworld, which is really incredible because that was a cheesy old 70s movie, and it turned into a top-notch television series. So, the future for Jonathan Nolan's very, very bright. And I think his older brother's doing okay too.
Oh, just.
No, interesting, I thought, anyway.
Nice. All right. Before we get into the train wreck of the week, guys, also remember you can hit that like and subscribe button for us and hit that notification bell. We'd really appreciate it. Also, guys, you can hear us on audio podcast on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and where all good podcasts are found. Jace, let's get into the train wreck of the week. Who's made the list today, mate?
Oh, okay. I love this one. 4 of the biggest box office bombs of 2023 belong to Disney. Belong to Disney. Disney has copped it big time. Audience don't like what they're serving up. And let's have a look at who they were, Rick, because this is a big train wreck. We had a couple of train wreck stories this week already. The Dwayne Johnson could have been a train wreck one, but I thought this was better. This was a great article, and it was written by, I do want to shout out Kevin Frazier, who wrote this, because I thought this was very informative. So let's have a look. First up, and least surprising, is The Marvels. The Captain Marvel sequel, which I did like. I did like it, Rick. I've seen it a couple of times now, The Marvels.
Wow.
I enjoy it. There you go. Hot take. The Marvels, the Captain Marvel sequel starring, Brie Larson, blah, blah, blah. And its predecessor grossed $1.1 billion.
Did it?
Oh, yeah. The first Captain Captain Marvel made over $1 billion. It was hoped the sequel would equal that number, but the film turned out to be a bomb of epic proportions, grossing just $206 million worldwide. The film reportedly found Disney taking a loss of $237 million. Now, what is the math on that? The math may not work out. You've got to remember, guys, on average, whatever it costs to make the film, double that again, because that's what the marketing budget is. So that would have cost them $450 million, all said and done, between the marketing and the film. So the thing needed to make, a lot of money. But it ended up taking a loss of $237 million. That's so. There you go. That was not good. And again, they had a built-in audience. It made over $1 billion the first one, Rick.
Yeah.
People went and saw it. It had
what has changed since the first one came out?
I don't know. And I think The Marvels, and we can argue about this one day, is actually a superior movie to Captain Marvel. In many ways, I think it is. I think it's actually quite a good sequel. So that's interesting. The audience just doesn't want to go and see it, though. Next up, Rick, another film that I like. I don't love it, but I do like it. I think it's probably the third week. Like it's not as bad as Crystal Skull, but it's about number 4 in the line for me. And that is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I didn't mind it. I was all right.
Fans had hoped for more of a Harrison Ford's final outing as Indiana Jones, but the film grossed just $384 million worldwide, with the studio taking a loss to $143 million. And that's a little more than was previously reported. Now, if you think about that, Rick, that's Indiana freaking Jones we're talking about, right? You could have had him sitting on the toilet, and this thing should have grossed at least $600 million. It doesn't. It doesn't. Like, the oldies didn't go and see this film.
No.
That was, I think, the problem here. Is young people were like, we don't give a shit about this old dude.
We don't know who he is. We don't care.
But the older generation, like from our age upwards, who have grown up with this character, we should have gone and seen it. And we weren't seeing it. We saw it, but you know what I mean? Like, not all of our generation did. They were over it. So, again, also more evidence of streaming you kick you in the backside. Because people go, all right, well, it'll be out on streaming in 12 weeks.
I'll just wait. Yeah.
I'll just wait a couple of months. It's not a big deal. Now, if you turned around, I think I've said this before on the show, and you started saying, nah, it's a year. We release a film, you don't get to watch it at home on streaming for a year. That would change a lot of people's minds. That would go from them going, oh, well, no, I've got to go see it. I'm not going to wait a year.
It's no different to being like back in the day when we were kids, when you watch a movie come out in cinema and then you were waiting for it to come out on free to air. It was like well over a year or so.
Oh, that would be multiple years on free to air. And it used to be months and months, sometimes up to 12 months to come out on VHS.
Yeah, correct. Bring it back.
Rent from the video shop. Okay, the next film on the list is, they didn't have any luck with a movie called Wish, which was their animated movie. And it's supposed to be a big deal because this film was supposed to celebrate the 100th anniversary. The film grossed $253 million worldwide and prompted a loss of $131 million.
Wow. Hemorrhaging money.
We had Haunted Mansion.
Oh, garbage.
I didn't even know about that. It grossed just $117 million worldwide. It happened that the net loss of this picture was also $117 million worldwide. So they lost a bunch. And if you're wondering what the 5th movie was, you just need to hop over to Warner Brothers with The Flash, which brought in $270 million worldwide and the studio taking a loss of $155 million. See, The Flash is, I know it's a different studio, but look at that. That film is not a bad film. I like that movie. I do. I'm not talking about all the problems behind the scenes. It's a nutcase. The film itself, I like it. Yes, they made a poor choice with their visual CGI versions of multiverses because it just looked like crap CGI. But I think the movie was still really, really good. So, but it's interesting why people are rejecting Disney. And it's not like people don't want to go to the movies, Rick. I mean, I can give you 3 movies that have absolutely, well, they're listing 2, but I'll throw a third one in there. For example, Oppenheimer and Super Mario Brothers combined generating almost $5 billion at the box office. $5 billion at the box office combined.
So what's the difference between Oppenheimer and then Indy? It's that same short sort of, crowd that want to see that movie. Why did everyone go to Oppenheimer to see that movie? Versus,
well, Oppenheimer's an important film in it, but it's Christopher Nolan as well. You know what I mean? So it is. He's kind of one of those. He's like him and Tarantino and Scorsese and Spielberg. And that's about it, I would say, are the directors that if you hear that they've made a film, you're going to see it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe bad marketing. Maybe the trailers weren't that great and weren't that clear enough on what it was.
Yeah.
And maybe people just over Indiana Jones generally as a character. I mean, that happens, Characters don't live forever. People enjoy things and then they don't enjoy them as much anymore. But Disney has a big problem, dude. They have a big problem. Clearly. And they have been no Marvel things were mentioned there, but besides the Marvel, they didn't mention Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which was absolutely horrendous. They haven't mentioned a few of their other losses. Like, they are unable at the moment to find their footing. So their next couple of years, Disney, going to be so important, dude, because if they keep getting losses, I don't know what they're going to do. They should be thanking the Lord above that they have Deadpool and Wolverine at the moment, because that is probably the biggest thing they've got coming out this year, period.
100%. It's on track to hit $1 billion.
I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's absolute no-brainer. It doesn't even matter the quality of the film. The film would have to be absolute trash. I mean, trash.
Yeah.
To make under 700 million. This film, like, it's automatic. It's automatic $1 billion, I think, in my mind. I'd be shocked if it isn't, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's the type of film that's going to require repeat viewings as well. So
100%.
It'll be massive. Yeah. It'll be massive. So, but yeah, there you go. Disney, pull up your game, mate. But they're the train wreck of the week, train wreck of the year, train wreck of the last few years, I would say, Disney.
Disney just seems to be a recurring thing in our stories. It just seems to be.
Well, they're one of the biggest studios in the world, and they set the pulse. It's like,
yeah,
you know, they're the highest of highs currently in Hollywood in the way studios go, because they own so much material now.
Yeah,
you know, but they have made some great content too. There has been some good content,
right.
But Disney was always the highest standard, and it's not so much anymore.
Well, lift your game, Disney. Lift your game. All right. Well, that about wraps it all up, Jace, for this week's show. We had some great stories there. But before we go, guys, if you want to catch myself and Jace, you can see us all here on this channel. All the links are down below. Jace, where can the guys catch you as well? You're on a few places.
Yeah, a few different places. You can always find me in most socials, Instagram and TikTok at VHS Jace. You can catch me over doing a podcast every week called the Captain's Quadrant of Star Trek podcast show that we have fun with live every Saturday morning here in Australia at 10:30 a.m. but 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in America. And then I'm also on the Jason Wygaston channel, where we do a bunch of other podcasts on movies, TV shows, animated series. So yeah, I'm all over the place. Way too many things.
Wonderful. All right. Well, guys, we'll see you all next week. Bye for now.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you could do us a massive favor and hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. Also, come and check out us on all our social media accounts and keep up to date. And if you're looking for some clothing, you're needing some merch, we've got you covered at the Pop Culture Spread store.